Hey everyone, welcome again to Life Group. And for this week's message, we're going to be talking about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. You know, it's one of those classic movies of all time. And do you remember the story? Rudolph, he was born with a unique red nose that was glowing, and he was rejected by his family. He was rejected by Santa Claus. And his gift wasn't really accepted by people at first, by his friends. And so he went on a journey looking for acceptance or trying to find, his true place in life. And I can relate to that. I think that you probably can too, where a lot of our lives, it seems like it's a journey for us trying to find our fit or find our place. And so we go through life, we're making decisions, we're doing the best we can, we're making some mistakes. And even though Rudolph's nose wasn't anything necessarily wrong with him, it was just he was labeled as a misfit. And I think there's a little misfit in all of us, isn't there? And so the story of Christmas really is about us finding our home again, coming home again, like Rudolph. He finally came back. He finally grew up, and he says, you know what, I need to go back home. That's where I belong. And he came back home, and eventually he was accepted for who he was, and he was restored into his family's relationships. And actually even Santa himself and others came around to seeing the unique gift that Rudolph had. And for you and for me, we go through a lot of stuff in life. We all have our quirks. We all have our flaws. We all have our regrets and things that we wish we wouldn't have done and changes we could make. But really, most of it is out of this pursuit for love and for belonging and acceptance. And so, as we continue on our journey, we talk about Christmas here. We're just celebrating that, through it all of our ups and downs, all of our goods and bads, that God has loved us and He has come to us. And the message really this week is that Christmas is about Him coming to us to restore our relationship with Him, to restore us to our relationship. Not that we could have done anything to deserve it or earn it, but God loves us and He reaches out to us. I think so much of our lives we're trying to earn love, earn acceptance, not just with people, but with God too. And yet the good news of Christmas is that God comes to us. He loves us in spite of our quirks, in spite of our mistakes and our sin. I always like to remind people that God is bigger than our sin. He's bigger than our mistakes. And His love is definitely bigger than all that. So as we talk about God's amazing love, just let's celebrate that God never gives up on us. He never leaves us. He's always pursuing us. And it's never been about us getting good enough for God. It's always been about how much He loves us, and He comes to rescue us and save us and deliver us. So may our hearts just be filled with fresh appreciation and gratitude and love for God's love being poured out on us. And think about that memory verse this week where it says that while we were yet sinners, while we were all still misfits, that God demonstrated His love in this, that Christ died for us. He died for us. God never waited for us to get our act together. He always pursued us first. He always initiates the relationship. So may you and I be restored in our relationship to God, and may we reach out to others and offer them that same opportunity to get right with God, to be made right with Him. He's the only one that can do it, and that's what He came to do. So God bless you. Have a great discussion. Amen.